Good morning, and thank everyone for coming. I'd like to start off first by saying I am not Nolan. My name is Renard. That's for Wednesday. My first introduction to financial lessons was given by my mom. She used to work at Sears, and I used to always want everything I see. Mom, I want this. Mom, I want this. And she gave me this saying that I'm sure a lot of you probably always heard too. Money does not grow on trees. Me being a smart aleck, I was like, yes, it does, because it's made out of paper, and paper comes from trees. It still didn't help me get what I wanted. So, what I've learned and been retaught since being in this financial/money management class is have good money habits. Am I the only one that didn't have good money habits? Okay, we got Scott. Good money habits. You have to understand your needs versus your wants. Sometimes we just see certain things, or I see certain things, I want it. But it wasn't necessarily a need. So one of the good money habits that I learned that I have to focus on is my needs versus my wants. Also, to stop, drop, and think before you buy. Again, I'll see something I want and I just want it. I'm not thinking of the total cost of it or what it's going to cost me in the long run. Or again, do I need it? Because those shoes are nice and they will look good on me. So I have to make sure that I stop, drop, and think before I buy. I also learned one of the few acronyms that we learned, which is SMART financial goals. S is for specific, M is for measurable, A is for attainable, R is for realistic, and T is for time. When we're measuring, you have to measure how will this all pan out? How will it really affect me? Have I been successful in this goal? By what is it measuring up to its realistic and obtainable and the time. I also learned you have to make good decisions when it comes to spending, which leads us to another acronym, DECIDE. D is for define goals, E is for establish criteria for a positive outcome, C is for choose 2 or 3 good options, I is for identify the pros or cons of those 2 or 3 options, D is decide the best option that matches your criteria, and E, evaluate the results. Again, for me, that's taking the time to really see, is this the right deal? Could I find a better deal? Again, will it put me more backwards instead of moving forward? And will I be able to achieve what it is I want to do with this purpose without putting myself in more harm? I also learned to make sure your spending plan is effective. One of the first things that I've learned is pay yourself first. Put something to the side out of every money that I gain just to put for a rainy day or emergency, because emergencies does happen. We can't just say that, this is not going to happen, this is going to happen, this won't break down. Things break down, circumstances happen, so I have to put money away for that rainy day. Spend below your monthly income. For how simple this is, it's hard to believe that I really didn't get it all my life. I always spent above what was coming in, so that always led me with a negative. Simple math. More coming in, less going out leaves you with a plus. But if you got more going out than you got coming in, then you're always in the negative. And that was one of my problems also. Anticipate my monthly spending plan. It's sort of like making a budget. I have this much for bills, this much for insurance, this for groceries, social things, or going out to the movies. Just budgeting and seeing where my money is going instead of just day by day taking it how it goes. Planning. Make sure I have a consistent, reliable cash flow. And this is one I have to really be specific about. Reliable, consistent, and legal. I have to say that to myself, legal. Because sometimes you'll think, I'm in this jam, and I'll think the only way that I can catch up is doing something illegal, which again leads me to going backwards. So I have to put in legal as well as consistent and reliable. Now, when it comes to credit can be good or bad. It depends on how you use it. My mom, she's always been good with credit, and she's always made sure she paid it on time, made sure she didn't put too much on credit or go over her head. My sister, another different story. Credit is like candy to her, and she can't resist it, so she's always in the rear, and she's going to be mad I told you guys about that, so you didn't hear it from me. The type of credit that we can have is a revolving credit, which is like the credit card, installment credit, which can be like car loans, cash loan, payday lenders, avoid them if you can, service credit like utilities and cell phones. You have to honestly evaluate, are you really a responsible borrower? Don't fool yourself. That's one thing I have to tell myself all the time. Am I really going to be able to pay this back? Am I really able to pay the interest that comes with it? And again, do I really need what I'm borrowing from? Not just seeing it, liking it, and wanting it. I have to also ask, what is the cost of the credit? Sometimes you can have an interest rate so high that you're paying like double back what you even borrowed. And is that really worth it? I have to ask myself those type of things because, again, I don't want to live above my means, and I don't want to continually be in the negative. Also, I had to pay attention to what is the responsibility when I sign a contract. Oh boy, am I the only one who also looks over the little fine print? The fine print lets you know when you have to be due, how much is have to come back with interest, what is it if you're late, what about insurance that goes with the things. Always, 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 I have to remind myself in the future to read the fine print. Sometimes it's so small because I feel they want you to overlook it. So then, now you're in trouble when you don't realize, oh, I'm late. That's extra money now. Oh, I'm late. We can't help you. People sometimes do not care if you are ignorant to the rules and regulations that are printed in the fine print. People just want their money back. Also, it leads me to another acronym, SHREWD. Be a shrewd borrower. S is for sincere. Is it a sincere need? Am I happy to pay? Are we really? I'm not too really happy to pay, but I know I have to pay. R is for, is there room in my spending plan? The E is for, will there be extra costs? W is for, what is the waiting cost? And the D is for, will I be disciplined to repay on time? Again, if I know that I have a problem paying bills on time, sometimes I might have to say no to borrow and just, white knuckle it and bear down and just say, okay, I just can't have this thing right now. Also, the big thing that's going on now, identity theft and fraud. I know to keep my sensitive documents well hidden. I know also if I put it on my phone or whatever, make sure I have a good, strong passcode for my phone, and make sure if I lose my phone to automatically call the phone company and get it cut off. I know now to no longer just throw documents with sensitive information on in the garbage. You got to shred it now because people will go in your garbage just to get the things, and next thing you know, you're paying bills for something that you never even bought. In closing, I think what I learned most is just being smart about your money. Really, really being smart about my money. In the past, I've always just never cared about money because I was like, I'd get it back the next day. Or if I owe, I don't care. But later down the line, you realize those affect your credit rating, and certain things that you need credit for, you're not able to get now because I was careless with my money in my younger days. So I just try to be real smart now and really say, do I want or do I need this? I also try to pay attention to the biggest financial influential family in the world, and that's the Joneses. I never have been able to keep up with the Joneses, and they are everywhere. I can't base my wants and needs in life off what the Joneses have. The Joneses may have a nice Mercedes-Benz 2019. I might have to have a 2000 Honda and be content with that. I can't continue to let my money my spending of my money be dictated by the Joneses, because the Joneses will unfortunately lead you to the broke house, and they will still be happy Joneses and I'll be broke Renard. I want to thank everyone for coming here today. I want to thank Wednesday because, as I've said before, I believe not only do we need drug evaluation and mental health when we come out of prison, it is detrimental that we have financial money management classes also. Because the first thing most prisoners say when they get out of jail is, I need a job. I need money. And you can give the average prisoner $1,000 when he get out. But if they don't know how to manage money, they will end up doing the same thing they did before, and they'll end up back in prison. Because most of us that were in prison do not know how to manage money. It shows. We don't know how to spend properly. We don't know how to save properly. So the financial classes is just as detrimental as the mental health and the drug classes. Because we still sometimes be stuck in that old way of thinking. If I don't have no money, I'm going to find a way to get this money. And usually it's not a way that allows us to stay out in society. So I thank Wednesday for coming to teach this class. I thank Jesse and Edith for this program, because this program allows us to get everything we need coming out of prison to be successful. And even if she didn't remember my name for most of the time here, I am still grateful that she takes time out of her day to come and teach us. Thank you.